Hi, I'm Judgement, the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix. Welcome to the Alchemical Goddess Daily Astrology Intuitive. I'm going to share the chart with you and pull some cards and talk to you about today's weather, astrology weather. So this chart today is interesting. There's a lot of energy, a lot of positive energy. There's a lot of trines. There's a lot of otherworldly sextiles that are causing like slips in dimension, where you're kind of in a different dimension in the higher dimensions, and then you're out of it. You're in the higher frequencies, and then you're back kind of in the old you, in the old version of you, in the old patterns. So be aware of this being a time that's very quantum and movable, that you can really create something different in your life, that so much has shifted since the eclipse that this is really a time of change. This is a time to end the things you don't want to end. There's definitely things in your life that have come up where you've had enough. What are those things? And use this energy as that catalyst to cement in these changes that you want to make to go forward into the more powerful version of yourself, into the higher frequencies. The Sun and Uranus conjunct today, going into the early morning. There'll be more of an exact conjunction, and this is very electric unpredictability. This is really liberation. Uranus is liberation. Uranus is the higher consciousness that understands, sees above the earthly plane and this matrix life, sees above this prescribed life, and really understands that you're soul in a body and came here to do something really powerful, that you are powerful, and that there's just a lot of bindings, a lot of conditioning that holds us humans back. When you look at every sacred text, every mystery school, every teaching, what you always come back to is the mind and how it screws us over, because it cages us in rules and laws and thoughts and suppositions, all that can be chosen, or you can choose not to make thoughts mean anything, not to make what other people say mean anything. And this is true liberation. And it's one of the hardest things humans have a problem doing. And so there's this otherworldliness. There's a couple of aspects that allow you to have a lot more of a creative problem solving. Mercury is internal and asking you to review everything. This is a time where Mercury being in shadow and going retrograde on the 10th, that you're not going to be able to count on what people say and not being able to take it to mean anything. And I would suggest doing that as a practice. So use Mercury retrograde to realize that you can't take anything anybody says personally. You can't take it to heart. And the wounded feminine really takes things personally. And it's something that we need to heal as women, so that we are not caged by our own defenses. Because this is what happens. Our own defense system comes up, and we end up in the cage of those defenses, trying to protect what is simply, misinterpretations or correct interpretations, but just simply caring about thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts. They're not truths. They're not facts. They're not the soul. And it can take a lot of unwinding to look at that. And so this is a powerful moon in Gemini, as it has the last bit of stimulation as it moves into Cancer. And when it moves into Cancer, you could have a lot of feels come up and a lot of kind of more sensitive energy and really want to be in your comfort zones. And of course, Taurus energy right now wants to be in the comfort zones, but Uranus is here saying you have to innovate, you have to liberate yourself. And Uranus can really be a breakdown if you're in resistance to ingenuity, to innovation, to the new, to what you haven't done before. If you're trying to stay stuck in the old patterns and the old loops, it can really be a breakdown. And so don't it's a time to really not take anything that's mental, which is everything, right? That people say to heart, and understand that nobody's really going to be in the right mind, so to speak. And this Pisces energy is very empathetic. It really absorbs all of the perceptions and the emotions and the feels from other people. And so allowing that to release, and we have all of these trines from the moon today to Saturn and Juno, and to Saturn and Vesta. And so the trines are asking you to build the sacred altar inside, and it takes going into your emotions and feeling your emotions, identifying them, being willing to release them, to work with them, massage them into place, to dance, to get up out of the old emotional routines, and to make a sacred altar for what's the highest frequency, Vesta in Aquarius. To Saturn's going to titrate and restrict what is just simply not in your highest alignment, that's not moving you into destiny, that's keeping you stuck in the old patterns. So there's a lot of good energy to move forward and to create and to have amazing problem solving occurring today. And pull some cards. This is a good energy. Be at home, Wombat Spirit. Really about the inner home, about your emotional mastery. And it means feeling emotions. I did a powerful episode on the Light Goddess podcast about it yesterday. It's really will shift you. So I recommend listening to that. So really being at home within your inner security, it's about emotional security, because without emotional security, your emotions are controlling you. And a lot of times people don't want to feel emotions because they feel like they'll lose control. But the thing is that emotions are already controlling you because they drive all of your actions. So suppressed emotions that you've denied and pushed down are controlling all of your behaviors and actions. It's just not on the surface as visible. But if you go in and we do that work, then it's so easy to see. And what you realize is that the control you have is to actually feel, allow, and release emotions. And then you feel very empowered, and you retrieve your innate gifts and the innate messages. Lizard Spirit is about dreaming your life into being, and can't see it very well, and about creating your life, like the dream, that Pisces energy, that very fine mermaid, like Pisces, Neptune energy is about dreaming your life into being instead of thinking it into being. Thoughts come from the ego. It comes from the astral plane. It comes from the past. Thoughts are not creation. Thoughts are not divine. Thoughts are not what you want to create from. You want to create from your dreams, from your imagination, from your heart, from your soul. Really different places. Learning the difference between your thoughts and your intuition, especially as a woman, as a divine feminine woman, it's really important, because otherwise you're stuck in the matrix on the program. And so that's what we do in Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program, where I do astrological shamanic coaching. It's the only program like it of its kind. And Snake Spirit, time to heal. So definitely with Pisces, that karmic energy can come up, the insecurities and the fears. Pisces has a lot of fears, weird fears. So people with Pisces rising and suns have a lot of weird background subliminal fears that they don't even know are there, that are just bounding their lives and keeping them from having freedom. I mean, I'm talking about the weirdest shit, like germs or recycling or whatever. But this Pisces energy is going to bring all that stuff up to heal, to release, to let go of, and realize that you don't need to be bound in cages of rules made in the mind that aren't truth. The earth has like, when you do spiritual climate work with the earth and you look at those things like that Greg Braden has done, and so many archaeologists have done, and pulled the ice core samples, we know that the earth goes through normal cycles of ice ages and that are way different than the political bullshit about saving the earth, which is a campaign. It's a political play. It's a spell to get you not being free. And I'm not saying like I recycle, but if I'm traveling and there's no recycle bin, I'm not going to feel bad about it, and I'm not going to go out of my way to find something. I'm going to throw that cup away. And what is more important is actually humans raising their frequency and getting out of the mind and getting into their heart and being in love and not fear. That's what's going to change the earth. The earth is not as fragile as it seems. It's really humans that are fragile, but now we're caged in supposition, in mentalization. Cow spirit, that understanding that the earth is fecund, it is abundant, it is verdure, and there is so many miracles. The miracles are endless, but you have to have the eyes to see them. You have the ears to hear them. You have to be movable and willing to blow with the breeze of your intuition and of spirit where it's moving you. If you want to control everything, if you're afraid of change, and you're equating change to something negative, you're not going to see the miracles that are right there for you. They're right there. There's too much happening right now. There's too many miracles occurring. There's too much change. There's too much positive shifts. Otter spirit, you are never alone. You're never alone. And this can feel really hard when you don't see people, or you don't have people in person, or you don't feel connected, but you're never alone. You have guides and angels and goddesses around you, and you have ascended masters. You have beings, you have angels with you that are guiding you. Tap in, connect to them, and realize that you are not alone. I actually just started something with my guides and stuff earlier, and then I like stopped, and oh my gosh. So wombat spirit keeps coming up. So there's some message. Let me just, to be in your authentic self, to be in who you are, to be home within yourself. So feeling secure, feeling comfortable, which means that you can feel the emotion of insecurity, not conflating it for who you are, not making what you're insecure about mean that it's true. It's just an emotion. It's not truth. Go listen to that podcast episode if you're dealing with this, because it will help you so much. I just did a whole episode on this yesterday. That to be home within yourself, that you don't rely on the outer world for your stability, that instead you're relying on your inner emotional mastery and security, and your security within yourself to handle any challenge that occurs, to face the challenge as it occurs, that you have found peace inside yourself, love for yourself, that you're always working to deepen that. The inner work that we do is never done. When people say, I've done my work, it's never done. You can like really do the bulk of healing and not have just like big, massive things like hanging out there, just like waving your dick in the wind. But we're always going to have like inner work that comes up because those aspects in the sky have never happened before and poked at your planets the way that they're doing. And so there's always going to be inner work to do. But yes, there's like massive healing that you can do and really move through the bulk of it, and like old shit and karma. Like we are here to heal those past lives. Ego spirit has your back, but you're not believing that because it was upright. So there's something that needs alignment with believing that spirit really has your back and that you are really protected. When you're catastrophizing your challenge, pain, and loss, then you are not realizing the gifts and the lessons and the learning. We have shit that goes down. So like we have these weird thoughts. I don't even think they're thoughts. I don't think it's a conscious thing, but it's just the way that we're sold life by growing up, by the overculture. We're sold life that there's a good life and a bad life. And when you have a good life, these things, bad things never happen. And it looks like this. And so when life goes against that, it feels like it could be a catastrophe. No one's supporting you. Spirit isn't there. Or if you have certain planets in certain signs in your chart, particularly if you have Chiron and Pisces, for example, you can really feel like you've been forsaken by spirit. And so depending on your past lives and what your chart looks like, you can really do some healing on on connection to spirit and not feeling like you are abandoned by spirit. It's really important work to do, and it's something usually some of us have some sort of thread there that needs some. We have bat spirit, so it's so funny because I'm just getting the bat a lot tonight, like about transformation, that this is a transformative week. This is a transformative week, and bat spirit is really about the shamanic journey of dying for the rebirth. It's Black Moon Lilith energy. It's the dark goddess that understands that we go in and down and we die at death to have a rebirth of something completely truly ourselves. It's really that we die the death of everything that isn't true, but it feels like when the ego's having an ego death and identity is dying, we feel like we are dying. It can literally feel like death. Really crazy. And that to let yourself be transformed into the truth of who you are, into your real identity, into an authenticity that is only yours, to the unique medicine that you are here to bring that no one else can bring. So we got cow spirit again. So believing in miracles. I mean, you saw, I guess you didn't see me, but I was shuffling the cards. So so miracles are endless. Believe in the abundance. Cows are the fecundity. It's Taurus season. It's about building and growing and realizing that you have the gifts and the talents inside of yourself, and that you have the ability to create what you want to create, that we are spelled into thinking that life is a certain different way and that there's certain avenues to get there. There's a million roads to where you want to go, and spirit will lead you all along the way. That there's so many miracles and they just keep coming. And so can you open yourself up to miracles? Can you experiment with loosening the thoughts and the have-tos and the schedules and the how you think it should be, and really move with the flow of the spiritual energy instead? Move with your soul and let go to the way you think it's supposed to be, because that's the Chiron wound in Aries right now. Chiron in Aries at 14 degrees is semi-sextile in Uranus and 14 degrees in Taurus. And it's this needing to let go of the old ego identities, the shadow ego, for the healthy ego that knows who you are, that's ready to be on the adventure, that's excited. Mouse spirit, attend to the small details. So a lot of the anxiety that's coming up right now is because you're not getting the things done. And it's like, just sit down to one task at a time, complete it, and then move on to the next one, complete it, move on to the next one, complete it. Don't like think about all of them. Just do one little thing at a time that you can do, and then do the next. Because when we think about too much, the list, all of that, it doesn't work. So it's like, attend to all the details. A lot of times when things have kind of added up, I'll just take an afternoon or a day or a chunk of time and put all the things on there and just do one thing at a time, just not caring about any of it. Like really just like, it's kind of like a test in school where they give you those standardized tests and it's like, you don't fucking care, it's for them, so you don't have to do that. I never did those tests. I just filled in all the fucking bubbles and turned it in. Never fucking did that shit. Like, you are not sitting me down here for hours like doing dumbass tests that has nothing to do with my grade and shit. Nope, not doing that. So it's just like that. It's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna make the phone call, send the email, go onto this website, do the 10 things that have to do with this one task. Just be really like casual and laid back about it, because that's the energy that's gonna flow you into releasing any of that anxiety around it. Don't let things stack up on you. Get those things done. Frog spirit is about clearing all the clutter out of your life. So what is the emotional clutter that you have right now? And why are you sitting and hoarding clutter? Mental clutter, physical clutter, clutter in your life, clutter of old clothes you don't wear, clutter in the house, drawers full of junk. Like, why do you have shit that gives you bad memories? If you have anything in your house that when you look at it, you have a bad memory, why? Do you have things in your house that you look at it and it's not beautiful and it's not striking and it doesn't just make you so happy? Why? We humans live in cages of shit and stay there and think we have to. I don't care if it's practical. If it does not, you do not love it and it's not beautiful, why can't you just change one little thing at a time, one little piece? If you know, sometimes you can't do a whole room, or you're not going to change a whole emotional seascape in one time. But why are you holding on to old emotions? Like, go into that and really look at those emotions. Owl spirit, it's about seeing through deception, seeing through the darkness, that there's always the light after the dark. But that's what cyclical renewal is all about. The moon last night was so beautiful. I mean, it's nighttime for me, but you're seeing this tomorrow, Wednesday. Anyways, so today, Wednesday, the moon last night was so beautiful, just a sliver of the moon starting to wax and move towards a full moon eclipse, in lunar eclipse in 2 weeks. So we came out of the 3 days of the dark moon, and that's all about going down and under. It's a cyclical renewal. It's a fertile time of potentiality, of potential kinetic energy. So it's seeing through the deception, whether it's within yourself and your fantasies, whether it's within wishful thinking instead of creating, whether it's within your own mind, and your mind just telling you stories and dramas and trying to convince you of problems and trying to create problems and trying to scare you about problems. There's no problems. There's no problems. And you learn and begin to understand that and shift your paradigm completely in Alchemical Goddess. Things really shift. That's why it's called Alchemical Goddess, because you're not stuck in the cages and the imprisonment of the stories and the narrations and the thoughts. Spider spirit, I did an episode, I think it's 290, called Goddess Grandmother Spider. And it's a really powerful episode. People had really a lot of transformation with that episode. People were like pulling oracle cards, and it was like a spider card right before they'd listen to the episode. And so much magic happened with that episode. I wrote that episode because a spider like came down on my car. So it's just really a powerful synchronicity between me and hundreds of women. So check out that episode if you haven't listened to it. It's on the White Goddess podcast. The link's below. Spider spirit is about weaving the web of life, in that, like, when one thing happens in the web, like sadness or death or what, it affects the whole. And so it's like, that's why we are making this parallel society, that we are moving humanity to 5D, that all of us standing in the light, feeding your joy, living your real dream life, and getting out from underneath the spells and the bindings of, and liberating yourself with that conjunction today from the mind's like pull towards security that doesn't really keep you secure. What thoughts don't really keep you secure? Do you believe you can create your dreams? Because this is about weaving your dreams into place, and that there's nothing stopping you. Like, the stuff has been cleared out. Nothing is stopping you. You have koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. So it's really about knowing that the koala the koala energy is really about knowing that there is this bigger dynamic happening between your soul, who chose and knows everything that's happening. Your soul is not tripping, and with spirit, and with what you came in here to do, with your sacred calling, what you came in here to learn, to grow through, the humility that you came to get the smackdown of your ego on, so you could be more so you could grow in humility, so you could actually have more compassion for other people. When we're too in the ego, we don't have enough humility, we can't really have compassion for other people. And so that's why we get the ego smackdowns, and it's just our ego that's butthurt. It's not really us. It's not really soul. So Chameleon Spirit, act as if your dreams are true. I love this card. I love chameleons, but I love the imagery of it. Sri Lanka has like over 90 different species of chameleons, and has like really big ones that are giant, and they're just as like docile and friendly and like climbing the tree limb. I want to go to Sri Lanka and see the chameleons so bad. And Hanuman is like said to have stretched his legs, his monkey legs, from India to Sri Lanka, and that's why the splits have that name in Sanskrit. Anyways, I yes, have taken lots of Sanskrit classes. So anyways, Chameleon Spirit, really act as if the dream is true. Like, believe it, be in the energy of it, be in that energy of your dream, be in the energy as if it's true now. Really be there, see yourself there, feel it, go about your day in that place as if it's true. Be more abundant with your resources, be more abundant with your money. Stop saying crappy money beliefs to yourself that you can't afford it. Say, no, I don't want to do that. Don't say you can't afford it, because that's what you keep creating. So really look, and I just pulled this card out again. I mean, it's sticking up, but like I just put it all the cards down. So really, that it's saying that I think you've developed this skill, cultivate this skill of being in that energy and acting as if that you don't have that skill yet, that it's actually a skill to learn to move into the energy and to believe that everything is okay, to believe that everything is actually thriving, blooming, blossoming. Life is love and it's beauty and it's ecstatic and it's blissful and it's happy, and you're living the dream and you're doing it now. Whatever that thing is that's you're just really in your head about, that's what to let go of, because it's not going to come into a solution form while you're stewing and spinning on it. And so the more you can release and be in this joy, I did an episode called Are You Fully Resourced on the Light Goddess podcast. I recommend checking out that episode because it will really help you to find how to be fully resourced within yourself where things flow. So acting as if is this massive skill that we have to cultivate, we have to develop, we have to teach our brain and train our brain to start focusing on the emotions that we want to feel, to start activating them within our bodies, to start feeling them on purpose, to feel emotions on purpose, to feel the energy that we want to feel in life on purpose. Because everything we want is because we think that we will, is because of the feeling that we think we will get when we get there. We want it because we want to feel like that. So feel like that now. Create that now. That's how you live the dream now, while you're creating and building. Because if you think about it, no matter what you have, you're going to always be creating and adventuring and going forward. So be there now. Believe that now. Believe in your dreams, because they're absolutely available and here for you. I'm sending you so much love. I hope this video helps you. Please like it so more women can find it. Really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate you sharing this with other women so more women can find this beautiful work. If you want to work with me in an astrology reading and really understand why the patterns and everything has worked in your life the way it is, and look at what needs healed, look at the transits coming up for you and how you're being impacted and what's going to be coming in this next month, next 6 months. Really look at, where the money, where the relationships, these things. You can come into an astrology reading. You can book that at thegoddessastrologer.com. And also, I hope that you join us in Light Goddess Sisterhood. It's easier to be strong when you are surrounded with strong women. We have full moon ceremonies and astrology jams and so much coming up. The link's below. Sending you lots of love.